Welcome, YouTubers and Zoomers, and soon live people, I hope. Tonight we're going to do a different yin practice. It's going to be very restorative. You're going to get an excellent Shavasana out of this, and there are a couple of things that are going to be a little bit different. So you can see I have all my toys near me. If you have a bolster, please go and get it. If you have a blankie, I just got a shawl, but I can, or even a towel to roll up in case you might need it, or even like a soft pillow. And of course, your very dependable blocks. So we're going to start off, and you can sit on the bolster for this thing, for the first pose. This first pose is a sneaky way, it's not so sneaky because I'm telling you, of opening up your hips. And it's a favorite trick of yoga teachers. But if your hips are tight, or you don't know how long I'm going to make you stay in this pose, then sit up on your bolster and allow your knees to fall open to the front. So how would I know if I needed a bolster? Well, if you're sitting on the floor and your knees are like this, get up on the bolster. Because really we want to have those hips to relax and to allow some opening to occur. You could, if the bolster isn't high enough, then sit up on top of a block on top of a bolster. So we're going to be here for a while, and the first thing you're going to do is just get settled. If you've been running around or keyboarding and doing all the work that we're doing, and you haven't had a chance to just cool down and get centered, this is the start of the centering. Now, we don't want the low back to push out, because then that's just more. You can see how my posture has just changed just by sticking my low back back. Instead, we want the chest lifted so there's plenty of room for the breath. You can have your hands wherever you need them, or wherever they feel good. For instance, if you've done a lot of keyboarding or chopping vegetables like what I did, you would flip the palms of your hands so that you have an opposite thing happening in your hands. So, we do a lot of opening and closing of our hip joint, forward and backwards, and the spine open and close. But we often don't think of our hands and our feet in that way. And they are so complicated. We really need to think of those hands and feet as well. So begin breathing. I hope you're still breathing, or you were continuing to breathe, but breathe like you mean it. And maybe take your hand on the top of your chest and just feel, are you an upper chest breather at this point? And then maybe you can bring your hand right at the base of your rib cage on your belly, and maybe you can feel the whole breath filling up your torso. And I like to think of it as top and bottom, left and right, front and back. I've been looking forward to this all day. And then just have your hands back on your thighs again. And then we're going to you're going to tuck your chin in. And you're not going to tuck it so much that it's like really active, but you're going to feel a stretch in your upper back and your neck. And then I want you to take your right ear to your right shoulder. And then to the center, and then left ear to the left shoulder. Oh my goodness, this side is so stiff. And then to the center. And then right ear over to the shoulder. And then reach the left hand. Now this is where it gets really, can be very useful to have a block. You could have your left hand pushing the block or active on the block as your right shoulder and your right ear are trying to be together. Keep your throat nice and open. Now you could open up the palm of your hand. You could just see by rotating your hand and your arm in various directions, where are you getting the best benefit? Where are you getting that delicious release in your neck? Nice. And then you come to center. Whoa. And then of course, if you have your block on the other side, it's really convenient. Left ear, left shoulder. Keep the left shoulder dropped. Keep everything nice and puddly and smooth. And then push that right hand away. And then you could rotate and just find out, oh, there's a good spot. Or palm forward or back or up. So you're just trying to explore all those places. And you could have you don't have to have your hand on the block, you could have it hovering. So go to the place that's, calling you. Yeah. And then releasing. Now we're going to walk our hands. You can also use your block. I'm going to get off of my bolster now and just roll it back. I want you to cross your legs and the other leg in front, okay? So whatever you did, just reverse it. So you can have your block available, or you can have your fingertips. You're going to bend your right elbow. So we're leaning over to the right, but we want to anchor the left hip bone. So I find it's really useful if I press through those fingertips and push my left hip back. You're going to bring your left arm bone up and bring it over your left ear. Now keep your throat nice and open. And once again, explore with the palm of your hand twisting and maybe even bringing your chest or pointing your chest to the ceiling. Oh my goodness, I feel that all the way to my left waistline when I do that, when I look up. So the head is really asking that left waistline to wake up. And you could even move that arm bone. Oh, that actually feels really good. And then look forward and then carefully, don't rush as you come out to neutral. And go to the other side. Left fingers pressing down, push your right hip, inhale, right arm bone up, push that right hip, then exhale, bend the left elbow and bend the right elbow as you bring your arm bone over your right ear. Now keep your throat nice and open. Now start experimenting. Spin your chest, your heart to the ceiling, maybe eyes to the ceiling. Start moving your arm in a way that you can start to feel the whole side body, your shoulder, everything starting to wake up. Notice the difference. Don't be judgy. Notice the difference between your left and right side. Ooh. And then carefully coming up, out. Ooh. And now I know you really want to rush, but please don't. I'd like you to to cross your legs again with the other leg in front. Sorry about that. And you can take your bolsters, could be in front of your tummy. We're going to do a forward bend with one leg in front, and then we're going to switch. So if you have any issues around your knees, and it would be so much more comfortable if you stacked the blocks underneath your legs so that your legs could relax into it. If you don't, or There's always blankies. You could have a blankie or a pillow. That would mean 2 pillows. And you can bring your bolster in front. Oh. Now for me, I need to take the blocks out because that's going to allow more movement in my hips so that I can come forward. And forward is your forward, so whatever that means. For you, you could get a nice little comfy situation where you put your forehead on top of that block and then you just hang out here. Woo, there's so many things moving. This is just a different angle from what we were doing. We were in seated pose, opening up our hips, but you can feel as you move forward that this is just a different angle. It's getting a different area. The hips are very complicated. No wonder they always feel tight. So if you are getting a lot of a response from your hips, take a big inhale, and then on an exhale, nice. Use your fingertips, push yourself up really slowly. Oh boy. Keep the chest lifting, keep that energy going all the way up to the top of your head. Nice. Now you know what we have to do. Oh, lean back. Switch your legs slowly. Oh my goodness, this side. Don't we always have a side? We think, oh, poor old side. That's what I think. I think, poor old side. You don't have to be give so much feedback to my brain. Instead, I could just let go. So exhaling, thinking about letting go is really helpful. If you need the bolster or you don't need any of this, then move it out of the way. So these are just suggestions to make you feel comfy. If you don't need them and you still feel comfy, then go ahead. You could also, this is a nice one where you have your elbows underneath, kind of in line with your head. Then you take the sides of your face with the palms of your hands. Breathing, inhaling, exhaling. Notice all the things that are moving. It's really remarkable. And maybe you are able to take your arms and pull. Even if you're up here, maybe you are able to pull a little bit more. Come down a little bit longer. So I'm going to just let you know that the next pose is going to be a release. But I don't want you to get all excited about it. Instead, I want you to know that there is going to be a release and it's going to feel a little bit better than this. But the way that we go into that, we need to preserve this work that we've just done, which was a lot. Use your fingertips, bend your elbows. Push yourself up so you feel every single adjustment of the weight of your upper body into your hip sockets. Oh my goodness, can you feel that? That's terrific. And then when you come up, I'm noticing my shoulders are like crawling up. Relax your shoulders. Sit and let the weight be there. I promise to release. You're going to use your fingertips. You're going to lean back. Lean back. Oh, I know. Oh, bend your elbows. One leg. Forward. The other leg. Forward. You notice I have my comfy socks on tonight because it's a little chilly, even though we do have a fireplace. So your legs are forward. I want you to point your toes, flex your feet, point your toes. So we're creating some circulation right in this hip joint, and you could even encourage them just gently finding some movement in there. So get your props organized again. I'm going to take the pillow this time because I think that the nice soft pillow is going to really be nice for what we're going to do. We're going to do Janu Sarasana, which really just means the knee flops over to the side. So your left leg is straight. You're going to bring your right foot as close in to your chest as possible. You're going to close up your knee. That's going to help keep your knee nice and safe. Now you see this nice colorful pillow. I'm going to flex my right foot as I bring it into the thigh, and then I have the pillow here, or if you don't have a pillow and you need a block, pillow's just nice because it adapts to how your leg is opening up, how your hip is opening up. Now pull the stuff back. And then we're going to come forward. Now for those of my friends who are super yogi flexible, or this pose seems nothing to them, have a block at the top of your mat because we're going to do something a little special with that. So coming forward, make sure that your arms are, your shoulders are over that left knee, or that when you come down, you're not just collapsing on the right arm, that you're even as you come down, and you're longing for your left toe. Breathe. So this pillow, we're filling in the earth underneath my leg, your leg. You can also use a bolster. This bolster is pretty high, but if your hips are really tight, you'll want to use the bolster. You want no feedback into your knee. We want all the feedback into your right buttock, into your right hip. My friends who find this pose to be pretty easy. Now, others who do not find it easy can be blocking underneath your left thigh if your hamstrings are really tight, and that is perfectly fine. We don't want you to feel so much on the hamstrings. Others can take a block in the front of your left foot and grab the block with your hands so that you're pushing against something and then pulling. You'll feel your whole back body lengthen. It's a really beautiful thing. And you're moving away from that tight right hip. Oh, it's a joy. Now coming down. Whew. Can relax if your neck, holding up your neck is too much. Your head, heavy head, just let your head hang. Nice. Then inhale, come on up with your fingertips. Now for this next pose, I have found it convenient to have a block on the outside of my left thigh, because what we're going to do, and this is really difficult, we're going to move this heavy leg from our hip muscles without using our hands. So we're going to lift it and put it on top of the left thigh. And the edge of the left foot can be on this block, if that works for you. And again, you have this pillow that can support, or a block, whatever works for you. And then you're going to come forward again. Oh, another angle. Breathing. The nice thing about this particular sequence is even if you've done yoga for years and years and years, because this is targeting some things that, because we're walk on planet Earth, targets those things that keep tightening up, you will always get benefit out of this sequence. So that's the lovely thing about some of these poses, particularly this sequence. Use your fingertips, come on up. Oh, don't rush. I want to rush. Don't rush. Oh, move the props out of the way. You're going to lean back with your hands, you're going to bend your left knee. You bring your left foot as close into the buttock as possible. Then you're going to lift your buttock off the floor like an inch, and you're going to rock that right leg closer and closer to your chest. Then you drop your buttocks, and then we're going to take the outside of the left foot and the outside left edge of the left foot, and it's going to go on the floor so that our right foot lands. Now for some of you that's a long way, so you would land the right foot on a block. And for those of you who really find this twist really difficult, you just put your foot in front of the left shin. Okay, so I'll show you the full way. So you end up kind of being on an angle on your mat, but that's okay. You're going to take your left hand or your left arm, you're going to hug your left leg. That is my left leg when I look at it. No, it's my right leg. You're going to hug your right leg with your left arm. I should have labeled them. And you're going to sweep your right arm bone behind. And this is going to just bring this whole chest open. And if you, I should have said, you can have a block set up behind you so that after you've swept that arm, you can just drop those fingertips on the floor behind you. Ooh. Now, tendency is to lean away from what you're feeling. Yeah, we're really good at that, leaning away. So lean into your right buttock. Make sure left foot is flexed and you're not sitting on it. Great. Now keep leaning in there. Then lean back out of it. Turn to the top of your mat, and we're going to roll on to our knees with our hands forward. Now this is, the next little thing is important. Imagine, especially the girls, that you are seated at a dinner table or whatever, and you've crossed your legs at the thighs, and you're going to squish them at this point even more. So squish, squish, squish. Now if you have your block nearby, you're going to land, or your bolster, you're going to land your buttocks on the block. So you're elevated. Flex your feet. You're not sitting on your feet, of course. And then you just take a moment. It's always good. Just take a moment to really allow the weight that's happening. Let it figure out what it needs to do with those hips of yours. And then whatever forward bend you have, try that. So cowhead pose. Use what you've got. I mean, if you have a bolster and this makes you happy, or even like a pillow, and then you feel more happy, do what gives you the most chances of relaxing into these poses. So we did all of the right hip. I don't know if you noticed. We have to do a coda. We have to go around and do the other leg as well, the other hip. Use your fingertips. Push yourself up to seated. Oh my goodness. Chest is lifting, shoulders dropping. Let that breath be, let it go through your whole body. Now you can either come forward or you can crawl back. You can crawl forward and then crawl forward so much that you can undo your legs. Or you could do back. And then come into the middle of your mat for the other side. Oh, you could point. Flex, point, flex. Bend the left knee. Hug the knee. Close the knee cap off so that it's really protected. Make sure you got all your your little toys, your little comfort things, your little blankies, whatever works for you, whatever you're using. Allow your left knee to flop open. The left foot is in the right thigh. Pull the stuff out. For those of you who are pretty flexy, to get that block set up at the top of your mat in front of your foot. And then you're going to come down. Ooh. You're going to let things happen. Breathing. Those of you who can do bandhas, every once in a while, not in this whole practice, but every once in a while, think of bandhas as helpers, but then I'd like you to let them go, because this is not that kind of practice. This practice is to let the tissue soften in a way that supports the joints, that opens up all those spaces so you have less chance of things hurting when you're sitting endlessly or doing repetitive things. Those of you who can, you're going to take your hands on the outside of your block. You could also have it like this, depends. Just up and pull. Oh, you're pulling away from that left hip. Man, that is good stuff. Those of you who have tight hamstrings could be bending your right knee and sticking a blanket or a block underneath the right thigh. Not underneath the knee, but underneath the thigh. Whew. That is the good stuff. Inhaling, exhaling. Ha. So, you want to retain that opening in the left hip. So we use our fingertips, bent elbows, and we move so very carefully so that we can feel, we can feel the weight of the head, can start to feel how the left hip socket is reacting. I'm going to remove my pillow now and let that whole left leg really relax. Nice. Now, without using our hands, where's that block? I'm going to set this up so that I can land the edge of my foot on this block on the outside of my right thigh, because otherwise I actually bruised, and that could be not a good thing. You know, don't feel like you can relax when you're feeling like you're bruising yourself on your thigh. And because we're not activating the foot and the leg, this muscle is nice and soft, so it's easy to bruise. So that's why I've got this block here. No hands. Pull your belly in from deep in your hip. Lift that leg. Land it on your block. Or it's the ankle and the foot on the outside of that right thigh. You're going to put that leg on top of that thigh. Now, pull the stuff away if it's in the way, and then come forward. Ooh. Breathing. And remember, you can use the other block to block up the left thigh if you feel there's any vulnerability around your knee. And you'll know that because your knee will talk to you, or you'll feel vulnerable. That's the feeling of like, if I go a little further, I might hurt myself, or I might get to be in pain. And your body is really good at giving you that signal. So pay attention. Paying attention. Inhaling, exhaling. Nice. You could let your head hang. don't need your block after a while underneath the left thigh, or you feel like it's relaxed enough, take it out. Continue. Maybe you even want to experiment with bringing it to the front foot. Oh, that's a good one. Pull, lengthen away from the outside of that left hip. For those of you who've never tried this with the foot and the block, highly recommend it. These are the ways to make these poses that we have done over and over and over again interesting. And you become motivated to do them. Use your fingertips, bend your elbows. Ooh, oh my goodness, go slow. I feel like I need to go slower because everything is moving. I'm pushing up. Ooh, relax your neck. Ooh, relax your shoulders. Nice work. Lean back with your hands and bend your right knee. Bring your right foot close into your buttocks. And so this is when we're going to rock back and forth. You just lift your hips about an inch off the floor, and as you come closer to your chest, you really are trying to bring that left shin closer and closer and closer. Then land your right buttock and put the edge of your right foot and the right thigh on the floor and land your left foot on the floor. Now if it's sticking up, build the earth up, okay? Now this right foot is close in to your left buttock, but you're not sitting on it. And if you need to sit entirely your pelvis on your bolster in order to do this, then go ahead. If there's no way this foot is coming over, then you just put it in front of that thigh and you do everything else that I'm going to say. So, okay, so take this block. Remember, we had it set up behind. I don't know if you remember, but it'll be useful. Take your right arm and hug your left leg. Look, I got it right this time. I got it correct this time. Oh, and then hug and lean into your left buttock. Now take your left arm and then pull it open, like as if somebody's helping. Pull your whole chest around. So then the left arm is helping. That's what's happening. Lean into your left buttock and then just gently drop your left hand. Could be on your block or on the floor. Use your fingertips whenever you can. Just like that's the best. Fingertips. Keep them wide. Cupcake hands, really. Leaning into that left hip, lengthening through your whole chest, lengthening through your whole torso so that you really feel that you're allowing a lot of space for breath. Nice. And then coming forward, we'll put knee over knee. We're going to crawl forward onto our knees, and then we're going to pretend we're at that dinner party, and we're going to squish the upper thigh bones towards each other. Really squish them. Keep them squished, and remember, you can have your block or your bolster to be right underneath your pelvis when you land. Knee over knee. Bring your feet parallel to the front of your mat or the front of your room. And then just wait. Wait for things to happen. You can flex your feet so there's no problem with your knees. Some people, the left knee is going to be up so high, so maybe what you do is you take a blanket, a pillow, a blanket, and you fill up the space So fill up the spaces. I like to use a blanket and a pillow because I know as my body is opening up, it will allow that compression in the material, whereas the block is just like, yeah. But you need to know what is going to work for you and whether your body will open up as you go into these poses. So I'm going to come off my block and we're going to go into a forward bend. Cowhead pose. You can make the moo noises. Breathe. Flex those feet. If your forehead needs a little bit of a rest or the back, your head is getting a little heavy with this, then just block everything up. And then of course you can also block your tummy up. You can use your bolster. You can use your bolster. If you can't come forward at all, you can use your bolster exactly like this, which could be just very enjoyable. I like to spray my bolsters with smelly stuff, so then it is very enjoyable. All right, we're going to come up. Nice work. Lean back. Whoa. So we're going to lean back to get out of this one, for sure. Lean back. Oh, bend your elbows. Straighten the bottom leg. Oh, feel that? Straighten the other leg. Oh, sit up. You can have your fingertips pushing. Flex your feet. Feel the circulation that is flowing into the front of your hips, into that hip socket. You could shake your legs just gently. Don't go crazy. Don't bring that negative, tight energy back into your body. Then we're going to roll down on our backs. Well, just take your stuff away. If you need, if your blanket is your blanket that you use for Shavasana, then keep it nearby. You could have just one block for this next thing. So just move your things there. And then come down, oh, you're going to feel this, onto your elbows. And start off by having the soles of your feet at least as wide as your mat. Oh my goodness. And allow your knees to tent towards each other. Now, if you can, without hurting your knees, the knees are tented, move your feet even further. So what we were doing was finding space and squishing forward, a lot of forward into the hips. So now this is the opposite movement. We're moving the femurs in the opposite way. Use your arms in any way that's helpful for you. So if you work, if your keyboard, we all work, keyboarding, and you feel like your chest never gets a chance to open, or your armpits never get a chance to open, then have your arms out. If you're a person that has builds up a lot of tension in your neck and your upper back, then maybe you want to lie here and pull your shoulders towards each other by grabbing each one. So most people will want to do the arms out to the side in scarecrow style. Make sure you're breathing all the way down to your pelvic floor, all the way up to your throat. Breathe. Man, this is good medicine. For the final pose, before we do the final pose, you might need a block, but if you don't need a block, don't use it. I'd like you to walk your feet towards each other. Extend your left leg. Bring your right foot in, as close into your right buttock as possible. And we're going to do Janusarasana, or tree, you can think of it as tree pose. Tree pose lying down. Now the left hip, don't just keep rolling over to the right, but keep that left hip on the floor and keep the left shoulder, the back of the left shoulder on the floor. And for those of you who have tight hips, of course you can take your block and build up the earth towards that leg, but otherwise let things happen. If you feel that there's all kinds of shakiness happening in this hip area, you did the good yoga tonight. Of course, coming to the mat, you're always doing the good yoga, but don't ever think that this shakiness is a sign of I'm weak. It is totally not that. It is getting underneath the muscles, to the fascia, to the connective tissue, to the tendons that hold you together. It's woken them up and asked them to create more space. So this is like a thumbs up. Bending your right knee, or your right knee is already bent. Bring your right knee to the ceiling, land the right foot, and then feel the whole femur go into your hip socket. Extend your right leg. Oh! Bend your left knee. Bring it as close as you can, the left foot, close in to your buttock. And then tree pose, so you feel the sole of your foot on the inside of your right thigh. Ooh. And remember, each side is different. So if you need some blocking up or any support on this side in order to feel that you can relax into it, then go ahead and do that. Breathe. You can have your scarecrow arms. Let something go. This is the last, we call this a weighted tree pose. This is the last pose before I'm going to suggest an elevated starfish today. Bring your left knee to the ceiling, land your left foot. Oh, feel that. Wait for the feeling. Then extend your left leg, and then just shake your legs out a little bit. Just gently, gently, gently. Bend both your knees. Press through the soles of your feet. And if you'd like, you could use a blanket for this as well, instead of a block. I'm going to use a block underneath the sacrum, and then extend your legs out as wide as your mat. So you're elevated your hips. Now, whenever we do that, we have to make sure we have to crunch, we haven't crunched our neck. So inchworm your body a little bit further. This is your Shavasana pose for this practice. Put on some of your bestest music, and if you're watching YouTube, pause this and put the music on that you love, and be in this position for a luxurious amount of time. Because you're not in a class, you take the time until your body signals you that it's finished integrating, finished rebalancing, that it's just finished. Those of you who are continuing with me, make sure that you do really settle into the floor, that you feel all of the light bulbs, tips of your fingers relaxing, tips of your toes. taking a big inhale. Bend one knee and then the other knee. Land the soles of your feet on the floor. Lift your hips just a little bit if you've put a block or elevated, and then move it out of the way, and then extend your legs, extend your arms overhead. If you have room, interlock your fingers to the webbing. Release the index fingers. Let's do a breath retention. Take a big inhale. Hold it. Smile. And then on an exhale, let everything go. Backs of hands. Feet flopped open. One knee and the other knee into your chest. Oh, I feel my hip flexors. Curl your body. If in your practice you can lift your head without hurting your neck and bring your forehead towards your knees, then go ahead and do that. Hug, hug, hug. Hug everything. Woo! Allow your head to come back down to the floor. Take another inhale. Exhale, roll over to whatever side makes sense to you. I'm going to roll over to the left side today. And the left arm bone is a pillow. Let your whole body, especially those heavy legs and the hips, just react to gravity. Notice your calmer, stronger, peaceful body, your easy breathing. Use your fingertips, bent elbows. Push yourself up to seated. Let's do a grounding breath together. These legs, woo! Flex your feet. Rub your legs awake. Bring your hands together until you can just feel, fingers wide, the heat of the right hand to the left and the left hand to the right, and let them just be like millimeters away from each other, and then connect them. And then thumbs touching the sternum. Take a big inhale. Let the air circulate and pick up heat in your body, and then exhale that warm air through your nose. Pass your fingers, humbling your brain towards your heart. The perfect moment in our sequence to practice gratitude. I'm so grateful that you joined me on the YouTube channel. It means the world to me that you are taking the time for yourself. You are having a ripple effect in the world. Thank you so much. Namaste.